Howdy folks, welcome again to the chefandthegrape.com. I am your host, Chef Christoph, and wanted to talk to you today about Malbec. Malbec has a lot of notoriety these days, and not without reason. The Argentinians have done some amazing things with it, but Malbec existed long before Argentina ever found out about it, and certainly enjoyed success around the world. Most of you know by now that I truly love Bordeaux and Bordeaux style blending, and so I taste a lot of Malbec, but usually it is in a blend. Well, in France, Malbec is known as Cote, and today I wanted to talk about a Malbec from the Okanagan, from a winery. I've mentioned it before, MoonCurser, the very signature labels. This is from the Okanagan Valley, British Columbia, Canada. If you're down there, it's in the Oliver area. And this is Malbec of a different type. This is not the Argentinian standard, which to me, especially these days, really is about ripe fruit, heavy extraction. It's not a bad wine, but in some ways it actually reminds me of how my colleagues talk about Syrah, Shiraz from Australia at the end of the 90s. It's great. It's in some ways it's sometimes just a little bit too much of a good thing. It's not always balanced. It's not always finessed. Absolutely, there are some exceptions. There are some fantastic people working with Malbec in Argentina. Absolutely. I'm talking about the industry as a whole. Now this in the glass, and it's pretty obvious as soon as you look at it, this is going to be a big wine, right? I mean, look at it. It's as black as my eyes would be if I stayed up all night. It's inky, full of huge concentration. But immediately on the nose, you get that sense that it's probably not what you're used to, right? Especially if all you've been drinking is Argentina Malbec and you haven't been drinking a lot of Malbec from, let's say, the Loire Valley. And let's be honest, there is not a lot of Malbec being grown in the Loire Valley anyways. It has a certain sense of wild herb, savory underbrush, forest floor. It's not Garrigue, right? It's not quite. But I certainly get notes of thyme and sage, and what I get that forest floor, almost like a muskiness. And that, to me, is a signature for Cote, to me. Now, granted, I've probably only had half a dozen single varietal Malbecs from France, whereas I've probably had Malbec from 60 or 75 different wineries, or maybe 100 wineries from Argentina, out of the 1,000 plus just in Mendoza. And this strikes me as being much more French than Argentinian. On the palate, wow, super tight, super lean, super dialed in. This is almost Burgundy, guys. I mean, this is like an extraordinarily young Burgundy. Yeah. Racy acid. The acid is full. Fairly well integrated, right? And you know what? I'm sorry. I have no idea what the price is, so I'm going to give points, but it's hard for me to give my value assessment. I would use this for its strengths, right? Yes, it has full acid, but so what? Pair it with really fatty food, just like I would with a racy Burgundy, right? I mean, beef bourguignon, it's pretty rich, man. And this too, absolutely with rich food. The palate is really led by that sense of bright red berry tones. The first raspberries of the season, underripe strawberries, Rainier cherries, or even Montmorency cherries if you've ever had them. I don't even know how to say it in English. Montmorency. And they're these cherries from the northern part of France, and they're super tart. Delicious, but they're really tart. They're not those black cherries that we're used to getting down here. Tannin structure actually is very modest. It's medium. Medium plus. Fairly well integrated. It's a young wine, right? This is 2012. It's still going to grow into itself. Silver medal at the Pacific Rim Wine Competition. These guys are winning awards everywhere. And if I haven't mentioned it before, these guys, 2015, the Decanter International Wine Awards, they picked up a silver medal. Okay, so you think, oh, well, Malbec doesn't grow well in Canada. How could it? It's impossible. When these guys put their hands to something, invariably it turns out well. They are excellent craftspeople. So my score on this will be a solid 90 plus. Value, I have no idea. Food pairings, very rich, very beefy dishes. Beef bourguignon springs to mind for me. And I hope that you enjoy it as much as I have.